Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Sergeant Major Brian Marzarella, Director, Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Academy, Quantico, welcome to today's retirement ceremony where Sergeant Major Gary J. Bass is being honored for 30 years of honest and faithful service. Please rise for the invocation by Gunner Sergeant Smith and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem.
Dear Heavenly Father, today we come to you with deep gratitude in our hearts for all the gifts you give us each day. Family, loved ones, friends, fellow Marines, our great jobs. May we always receive these gifts with thanksgiving, and may our hearts remember your mercies, which we receive through your love towards us. Today we are blessed to gather, celebrate, and remember Sergeant Major Gary Bass. His time in the Marine Corps is ending, and he will soon begin a new stage of his life's journey. So we ask that you keep your hand of grace on him as he writes this new chapter. Sergeant Major Bass is retiring from the Marine Corps, but not from life. This new phase of life will present some physical, moral, and mental challenges. A challenge to be adaptable in the midst of uncertainty. Lord, give him patience. A challenge to be creative in the face of complexity. Lord, give him vision. And a challenge to continue to live life well in the midst of changes. Lord, give him integrity. And perhaps more difficult, a challenge to slow down and enjoy life a little bit more. Lord, give him joy and peace in the quietness, and help him to be grateful for a life full of mission and purpose, and may continue to be fulfilled in the years to come. We ask also that you bless his wife Shelley and children Archie, Allison, and Katie. Give them your strength and grace as they together step off into this new endeavor. And of course, we ask a special blessing for this whole family, that they may grow together and deeper as the years go by. Your strength enables us to protect others. Your providence keeps us safe. Help us to turn our hearts towards you each and every day. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Now taking his position in the reviewing area is Major Paul Burton Clifford II from the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force.
Marine to be decorated and retired. Stand to. March.
Good afternoon, sir. Sergeant Major Bass reporting his orders.
Attention to orders. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Legion of Merit to Sergeant Major Gary J. Bass, United States Marine Corps, for service as set forth in the following citation. For exceptionally meritorious conduct and the performance of outstanding service as Director, Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Academy, Marine Corps University, Education Command, Quantico, Virginia, from March 2016 to November 2018. Sergeant Major Bass consistently performed his duties in an exemplary and highly professional manner. He brought a wealth of experience, knowledge, and leadership to the Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Academy and contributed significantly to the successful accomplishment of its mission, demonstrating a thorough understanding of curriculum development and implementation of College of Enlisted Military Education. Coupled with his leadership styles, he led, mentored, and guided a rotation of more than 70 permanent personnel who successfully supported and educated more than 5,000 students during his tenure. He actively promoted the advancement of enlisted education and higher learning, directly affecting the caliber of Staff Non-Commissioned Officer leadership for years to come. Sergeant Major Bass's determination enabled the successful of the Academy's grounds and assets. His expertise in budgeting, tracking, and mission accomplishment ensured the Academy successfully managed a consolidated memorandum receipt of more than 1,100 items totaling $161,469, a custody asset report totaling $166,526, and an overall 3-year budget of more than $250,000 flawlessly. Superior performance of duties as typified above highlighted the culmination of 30 years of honorable and dedicated Marine Corps service. Sergeant Major Bass' sterling leadership, keen judgment, and inspiring devotion to duty reflected great credit upon him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. For the President, D.H. Berger, Lieutenant General, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General, Marine Corps Combat Development Command. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Sergeant Major Gerald J. Bass has served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Marine Corps. On this first day of April 2019, Robert B. Neller, General, United States Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Certificate of Appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Sergeant Major Gerald J. Bass. I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution to the honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud tradition of military service. I trust that in coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you serve. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. Dear Sergeant Major Bass, the Marine Corps has been your profession for the last 30 years, and you have served with distinction. Many aspire to be a Sergeant Major, but those who achieve it are few, and they must clearly demonstrate the exceptional leadership qualities we have come to expect of our senior Marines. You have reasons to be proud of your most successful career. As a teacher to young Marines, a source of wise counsel, and as an example of those solidary virtues we so admire, you have made a mark on the Corps that will remain long after you have left our active ranks. There are many young Marines you have influenced who will carry on the same fine tradition that has always characterized the United States Marine Corps. You have my best wishes for good health and continued success in the Marine Corps. Semper Fidelis, Robert B. Neller, General, United States Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Dear Sergeant Major Bass, on the occasion of your retirement, I would like to extend my congratulations and heartfelt thanks for your many years of dedicated service and selfless devotion to our country and Corps. You have made tremendous contributions and sacrifices throughout your Marine Corps career. As you prepare to enter this new chapter of your life, you can look back with immense pride and satisfaction on all that you have accomplished. You have set an example of professionalism and leave a standard of excellence for all Marines who will carry on the legacy of the Corps. My wife Andrea joins me in wishing you continued success in the future. Semper Fidelis, Ronald L. Green, 18th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, Sergeant Major Bass will receive the Chapman Medallion from the Marine Corps University Foundation. The Chapman Medallion, named after the late General Leonard F. Chapman, Jr., 24th Commandant of the Marine Corps, and the Foundation's founding president, is presented to the individuals who have made significant and lasting contributions to our Corps and our university. Presenting the medal is Colonel John Saktras, the Foundation's Chief Operating Officer. From the Marine Corps Reserve Association. Presenting the plaque is Colonel Ken Hopper, retired. Certificate of Appreciation presented to Mrs. Rochelle M. Bass. In grateful appreciation of your unselfish, faithful, and devoted support of your husband's career, your continuous encouragement and understanding helped to make possible Gerald's lasting contribution to the Marine Corps. We fully realize that your perseverance and understanding were not provided without hardship and sacrifice during his years of service to the nation and our Corps. William J. Bowers, Brigadier General, United States Marine Corps, Commanding General, Education Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Clifford.
General Bowers, officers, sergeants, major, master gunnery sergeants, Marines, Shelley, Archie, Katie, I'm very sorry Allison couldn't be here today. Family and friends, thank you all so much for being here today. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful to see you all here, especially some familiar faces out there in the crowd. And many of you have come a long distance today, which I know is greatly appreciated by Sergeant Major Bass and his family, especially at this busy time of year around the holidays. So thank you all tremendously for being here today. It means a tremendous amount. I promised Gary that I wouldn't take more than a couple of minutes up here because I don't want to make this about me, but it's hard not to, considering the influence that he's had in my life. I feel a little nervous, actually. This is a tremendous man here. From the moment I met him, I knew I wanted to grow up to be like Sergeant Major Bass. Back then, he was just Staff Sergeant Bass, but he effused energy and passion. He lives big, but he remains humble. He is respected for his wisdom and compassion. He's a dedicated family man, and his leadership is above reproach. I'm currently stationed with 1st Marine Expeditionary Force aboard Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. Prior to that, I had the once-in-a-career opportunity to actually be stationed aboard the same installation with Sergeant Major Bass here in Quantico. I was over at Manpower and Reserve Affairs, and I was the Assistant Head of Separations and Retirements. So everybody that got out of the Marine Corps came through my office in some way, shape, or form. And I must tell all of you that I've seen the gamut, and this is a truly unique career that we are here to celebrate today. Gary, you have meant so much to me personally and professionally. I consider you to be my first mentor, especially as a husband and a father. I look up to you. And communication has been strained over the years due to the tyranny of distance and geography. I've been deployed, you've been deployed, we've been in training, you've been in Okinawa, I've been in Afghanistan. But I've always kept your example at the forefront of my thought. And the big green machine is going to keep turning after today, but it will be a different Marine Corps, for me at least, without you here. I am extremely happy and excited for you and the new chapter that you're about to embark on. Not just you, but Shelley, thank you for your decades of service as well. I know this is going to be a tremendous transition for you, and I cannot emphasize enough to everybody in this audience today what a sacrifice it is, as many of you well know, for our spouses to be married to a Marine. And not only to be married to a Marine, but to have raised a Marine and a naval officer and a soon-to-be merchant mariner. That's quite an accomplishment. In fact, I would like everybody to give Shelley a round of applause. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to break down here and get too emotional, but Gary, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be here today, to be your retiring officer. This really kind of brings things full circle for me at least. Thank you and congratulations.
Need that water, please. I'm gonna need this. take a drink? I can walk. Yeah, I did write down a few notes just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Welcome. I'm so humbled and honored to have you here, and as I look across the room and I see the talent in this room, I'm truly amazed that this group of people came together with me. That's my phone. It's late. Whoever that is late. So I would just like to recognize that starting before I go forward. I'd like to thank my commanding general for coming in. Obviously, he's very busy. I think he just left a conference with General Amos, and he came straight here. He wasn't able to change. So thank you so much, General. You've made a big difference, and I know a lot of commanders want to be involved and get involved, but you spent more time in my academy than with the sergeants, working those Marines over and teaching them all the things that we're trying to impress on them than any other commander that I've seen. So thank you very much, and Doug, thanks so much for coming out today. All right, I don't want to forget a few people right off the bat. So the Academy Marines that are hanging around here in the back, thank you for setting everything up and working hard, working on the reception. You just do it day in and day out, and it's a thankless job, and I haven't said thanks enough. For that, I'm wrong. Thank you very much. The band is here. Everything's better with the band. I'm so happy that you're here, and I appreciate you. For the last 3 years, you've come to so many things I've asked you to do for us. At all our ceremonies and our lecture series and our graduations, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for what you do. And for those of you that are on the outside, maybe you don't know that much about the band, I'll throw this out there. Those are combat Marines, and when we go to war, they go to war. When we did the push, they did division security. I mean, those are fighters up there. So they don't play the instrument. That's a side gig to being a Marine. Rifleman first. And then, of course, combat camera. Thank you for coming out, as well as Sergeant Robinson. Where'd he go? Sergeant Robinson is here on his own time as a private videographer, and he works nights, and he worked last night and cut his day short. He's got a Christmas party to go to, and thank you for making the exception and being here for me.
You're welcome, Sergeant Major.
I do have, I mentioned earlier, if you were in the room, that when I had my very first CO, the first sergeant taught me that we cross the line of departure on time. And that's what we do. We plan correctly so we can cross the line of departure. And I want you to know, I have a few things to say, but my LOD is 1500. So we're going to be, this whole ceremony is going to be over at 1500, regardless of what time we started. So if I start working my way down the list and I don't get there, we'll just push. We've got a reception to get to. Okay, so I will start with my humble beginnings in a small town of 7,000 people in Central Point, Oregon. And come on up. I'll turn on my man. So Sergeant David Hovey found me on the streets and recruited me, and this was my recruiter. So I just feel the same way that he said. I just feel the same way about you. I always looked up to you. You were professional. You were so much different than the other recruiters that we had in that area. So thank you so much. And I'll tell you a really quick story. When I joined, I enlisted. He took me on. I was in the delayed entry program, same as it is today. And we went out to an air show. They put us on a bus and took us there, trying to keep us interested, make sure we're going to make it to recruit training. And I was riding next to another applicant, and I said, what are you doing? And back and forth. He said, oh, I joined for 6 years, I got this. And I said, well, 6 years? I only got 4. I came back to him on Monday. I said, hey, why don't you don't like me? You won't put me in for, I want 6 years, I don't want 4 years. And I had to go back up to MEPS, re-dep in, quality enlistment program, contract corporal. There's a couple of them out over here, the old guys over here. They didn't love us as contract corporals. We got promoted too fast. But that wasn't what I was in it for. I just wanted as many years as I could possibly get going in. So we got my recruiter here, and then for those of you that are wondering our connection, I was Paul's recruiter. So I found him on the streets in the year 2000, walking the streets of Linwood, Washington, and I said, hey, you should come think about the Marine Corps. And he said, nah, no thanks. I'm going to Naval Academy. I'm gonna get this ring, be a naval officer, going to Naval Academy. Okay, that sounds great, but it doesn't cost anything. How about you just come talk to me and we'll see, if you don't like it, just leave. And I'll tell you, he's special. If you were on recruiting duty, you would know he was special. There were 0 waivers. And almost every applicant I ever wrote, they needed a waiver. If you got a traffic ticket, you need a waiver. He didn't have any traffic tickets. He didn't have any drugs, any of that stuff. He got 99 on the ASVAB, and he had a lot of options. So we thought, hey, I'll enlist you in the reserves as a backup plan with a PLC, and you're going to go. So he gets an ROTC scholarship. So he gets, Marine Corps says, you can go to George Washington University, a great institution of learning. We'll pay for it. And then me and him had this plan. You'll go to recruit training over the summer, and then you'll go to UW or George GW in the fall. Marine Corps doesn't go that route. Once you select an officer program, the enlisted side, you're done doing that. So let me tell you, his parents, to this day, they're not super happy with me. Because, when I told him, you cannot go to recruit training, you have to choose. Do you want to go to George Washington University, or do you want to be a Marine? You want to go to recruit training. You want to test himself. And so that was a portion. He put himself through college at the University of Washington, and then he went on and became an officer, and he became, you can read his bio. He became a pilot, and that really wasn't enough for him, so he switched over and did some ground stuff, and he's been in the fight ever since. He was special. Shelly's sister was in high school at the same time. She was a senior in high school, and they were, because of the ages and stuff, and it's just that with Clifford, he was around my family a little more. He was a special recruit, a special guy. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you've done. Thank you for those kind words you said about me. So that's our link. My recruiter, his recruiter, and it's kind of, the generations of the Marine Corps are kind of small. He's only a few years older than me. He's only a few years younger than me. But the list, it just continues to go, and that's why the Marine Corps, like you said, the big green machine's going to keep rolling down the road. All right, so I sent out some invitations, and I said, do you guys want to come? I sent it to all my different friends on Facebook and the people that I know out there, and I started getting all these contacts from 1st Tank Battalion. I was in 1st Tank Battalion 1986 to 1992, and all these Marines started saying they were coming from 1st Tank Battalion, and I didn't understand it. I don't understand these Marines that I haven't, they're all, it's just these old people right here. I see, they're all saying they're coming, and I couldn't understand. I said, Shelly, what is going on over here? Why are these guys, they're all coming? And she said, they're probably, they're a little bit older, more mature, they're more established, they can get the time off, they have the money, they can come. I said, I think it's because they got nothing better to do, Shelly. But I'll tell you what I figured out in the end. They came for camaraderie. They came to be around each other and come see me, maybe. But they came because he found out he was coming, and he found out he was coming, and it's the old school of camaraderie that we have in the Corps. So if you want an example, there it is. These were my NCOs. These guys right here, these were my NCOs that taught me things whenever they're responsible for me too. So you're responsible for me, they're responsible for me. All right, I do have a, where's Owen? Is he here? Okay, good. Can I have that back? So, Stu Shannon over here, we have a prank war that's been going on for greater than 30 years. And this started in 1989. We were in Korea, in the frozen tundra of Korea, and at that time, I just want to give you the background. Our shower was about 30 yards from where we live. And so I went in to take a shower. You take your towel, your bag, you put on all your clothes, you go over there, you take a shower, you come back. Stu gets in the shower next to me. I'm done showering, took everything he owned and took it back to the other tents. He walked barefoot in the snow, buck naked back. And it's been going since that day. So, Stu, look, I'm retiring. The prank wars are retiring. I want to put it to bed. Owen, can you come up and give me a hand? I got something for you right here, buddy. So, couple of things for you. Stu likes, him and his son have been, they're restoring a Spitfire. They got an old car, they're going to restore it, and I just want to offer you some good luck as you're restoring that car, so I brought you these, and you can share these with your dad. These are known for bringing good luck to you. Get those. And then also, Stu, he's decided to get into the boat restoring business, right? So he says, oh yeah, I'm going to restore my boat. So I see him and Owen out there. sanding on the boat, changing the engine. Hold that, Paul. So, you know, one thing, everybody who rides in anything that floats or goes in the water, if there's one thing they want on board, it's apricots. So you make sure you take these back with you. Yeah. Bring them back over there and make sure he helps you eat those whenever you get ready to go out on the boat.
Frank Wars are retiring, right?
All right. We made it to 1992. So, the Marine Corps told me, hey, we don't want any more salty old tankers. You got to go do something different. Go pick something technical. And so I said, which job has the longest school? I'm going to get smart now. And so I went to Harry Avionics. I did Harry Avionics for about 10 years. During my time there, there was a couple people that, you know, you just make these friends that are just your lifelong friends. Art Landell, I'm so happy to see he's a Master Guns now. I'll tell you, you know, you hear these people talk about Master Guns and Sergeant Majors, First Sergeant and Master Sergeant. We were gunnies together. You know, they say First Sergeants get promoted fast, 8999999, they get promoted faster, so I don't know, you be the judge. So we were gunnies together, and then I picked up First Sergeant, and I had got a couple years, he's still waiting to make zone for Master Sergeant, and about the time I picked up, Sergeant Major, so he picked up Master Sergeant, but I picked up Sergeant Major around the time he picked up Master Sergeant, and then, you know, he spent some time at Master Sergeant, I think a few years, and then I was at like 4 or 5 years time in grade, here he comes along, he's a Master Guns, and we're back in the fight together, so maybe there is a little bit of truth to that, but I know you're doing super important stuff up at the Pentagon, or at very least trying to find a place to park and get in and out of there past the zombies. And then from Ordnance, we have Sean Knight. He drove out from Detroit. Thank you for coming out. He's just a close friend that we were on the Mew together many years ago, and just kind of stuck. Okay, so while I was at 211, I went out on recruiting duty, and I'm going to tell you, and it brings me back to you. Sergeant Major Egerling, he taught me this. I didn't learn this until I had like 6 years time in grade as a Sergeant Major. So I told the Marine Corps when I was a Staff Sergeant, I said, I want to go on recruiting duty. And so I would go to the headquarters recruiting screening team would come to town, and they would say, I would go to the theater, listen to the brief, who volunteered to be here? And I said, I'm the only one in the theater with my hand up. Come on, you're first. We're going to screen you first. No orders. We're going to screen you. 3 years, no orders. I said, you know what, Shelley? I don't need to go on recruiting duty. I don't need to be building. My MLS promotes fast. I'm fixing to get promoted either way. So I'm not asking ever again. That next year, Marine Corps said, you're going on recruiting duty. So I didn't understand it, but Tom taught me with the monitors. They have a motto up there. Do you want to tell them what it is? Or you want me to? The monitor's motto is, we're not happy until you're not happy. So if you ask for it, no. If you don't want it, you got it, baby. Okay. It was out there. I made some good friends and stuff. Where's Tom Tice at? Does anybody know who Tom Tice is? The people from this academy know his name at least. And of course he knows him. So those of you that have been the beneficiary of Starbucks coffee, that's my contact at Starbucks. He's very resourceful. He's a Marine. Created his own job. He went to Starbucks and said, man, you really need a director of military talent. You don't have enough military guys. So he got the owner to agree to hire 10,000. He said, I'll be in charge. I'm a recruiter. Let me get 4 or 5 recruiters to work for me, and I'll sit over here. And that's what he did, and he promoted himself out of a job, and now he's doing well. So thank you for making the trip out. We appreciate it. All right, next I went back to the fleet after recruiting duty, and I went out on the Mew, and I was out on the, I believe it was a Tarawa. Were we on the Tarawa? Yes. USS Tarawa, man.
Twice.
And I was a gunny. Now I'm living in the Chief's mess, Chief's berth, and eating the Chief's mess, living the good life. And that's where I first met Sergeant Major Black. And he was a first sergeant at the time, 2-1, and they did a major operation called Steel Night, and I observed and I learned, and it was on that same deployment I got selected for a first sergeant, and I was just trying to feed off of him and the others and try and learn as much as I could. So I from that day to today, I thank you for everything. I got selected for first sergeant, like I said on that, and I came home and I said, Shelly, I'm going to be a first sergeant, and I can go anywhere now. We're not stuck in Cherry Point and Yuma. I'm no longer Harriers. I can go anywhere. She said, I have 2 requests for you. Honey, please do not go to the infantry and do not leave me here. So we're in Yuma. And I think it was Gary Weiser called me up and called my sergeant major. He called me in. He said, hey, I got a job for you. It's infantry. I said, okay, that sounds wonderful, thank you. And he said, when you're gunning and that diamond's floating out there, I would have tipped him. I would have been trash collector. I just wanted to be a person. But I wanted to go to the infantry, and she knew it. She knew this. We were heading this route. So he said, hey, the bad news is, I need you there in 10 days. It's only 29 pounds. Just drive over there. And you're going to deploy in. You don't remember when we deployed? Sorry. So about 75 or 90 days, you're going to deploy. I said, that works out perfect with my schedule. Let me call my sergeant major to find out when he's going to frock me. So I went to the commissary. Shelley was working as a checker, and I said, good news, bad news time. Unfortunately, I'm going to the infantry. She said, that's only one thing. At least you're not leaving me here. No, I got to go. So I didn't make good on either one of those. In the future, I'm going to make that up to you at some point. So it was at 3-4. I met some of the greatest Marines that I've ever served with. Lieutenant Colonel Gordon, the commanding officer of 1-6 Hard, is here today. He was my weapons company commander when I was a brand new first sergeant, and him and I figured it out together because it was during that time that, it was a tough time, and we did a couple deployments, and during that time I learned more about infantry, and I learned more about leadership than I would ever learn again. So, best infantry officer, and I've seen literally hundreds and hundreds, and he's the best one I've ever put eyes on. He was hunting down the enemy, I promise you that. All right, sorry, I think this wasn't started. So, I also, Staff Sergeant Strom is here. He's a meritorious staff sergeant. Went to combat with him. Thank you, Doc Wagner. Where's Doc Wagner? Doc Wagner, senior line corpsman, he's a chief these days. Outstanding. We're very proud of you. I used to say that he was the best Marine in the company. He is a war. And, they tell you they're non-combatants, but you want them out there with you. And then, of course, did Tommy Hamilton make it here? And then Wes was there too, Master Sergeant Wes. Everybody's all grown up now. They're staff sergeants then. All right. Came back from that. So we were deploying frequently in 3-4. 3-4 is the most deployed battalion. I got a coin that says it. So we went to, I left my wife in Yuma. We went on deployment. We came back from deployment, and we were in PTP. I mean, we were gearing up to go on deployment. So I get Shelly, we built a house, and I get Shelly moved out. And a month later, we moved in our house in January. We deployed by February. And I left. When I came back from that deployment, I don't remember if it was Rue or somebody said, you're out of here, dude. You got 3 years, 2 deployments. Get out of the way, let some other first sergeant in there. So I went, they told me I was going to go to Amtrak's, which was amazing. And I was a little bit sketchy with it because, there's a slight rivalry between tanks and Amtrak's at times. And I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to love them. Whatever that is, but that was not the case. So I went out there and I left Shelly in 29 Palms, and I did a tour at Amtrak's, got selected for sergeant major, and then the monitor moved me to Miramar. So now I've moved twice. Shelly's still in 29 Palms, and I did some time there, about 18 months there, and I called the monitor and I said, hey, I just need to get my family back together, man. I mean, I'll take whatever you got. I'll take anything. You know where I went, right? Okinawa. He said, good. I'm glad you called because we need sergeant majors in Okinawa. So, boom, we were off to Okinawa. And we were happy, smiling, all together under one roof. And when I called that monitor, I told him, I said, listen, I think I wrote it down. I've been 5 years. I've been in 99.99, and I've got 8 months in the house with my wife out of 5 years. So we've been giving it up, and so we got together. We went to Okinawa, and my daughter graduated from Kadena High School. So we go to Okinawa, and that's where I started meeting some people that would also continue to be friends and influence me the rest of the way. Scott Ham and Dave Maddox. I talked to you about Tom Egerling up here and his wife. She was here. I wish she was here so I could tell her. She's a better Marine than all of us. When she was on active duty, she was admin chief over there. She's a master sergeant. She is absolutely phenomenal. As good as they come. These Marines that I'm mentioning, they're just, I look at them and I see what right is supposed to be. Sergeant Major Egling is the most user-friendly, easy to deal with person that I've dealt with, and honestly, it's my pleasure at all times. And I get to talk, and he doesn't, because he doesn't want any credit for anything. Lieutenant Colonel Flannery was I moved to units over there, and he was the XO. What a phenomenal leader you were, and we worked as a sergeant major. We worked together so much, and I really appreciated our time. And we became friends, and our families. I do have. I mentioned earlier, if you were in the room, just the shirt off your back kind of guy. Where's Puma at? So that's Staff Sergeant Puma back there. He's a Lance Corporal. I mean, a few years ago, he was a Lance Corporal. Picked up corporal. He's a martial arts instructor. He does everything you could ask a Marine to do, and he's just hammering it home. So I bring this up to make a point of where we stand, which is a guy like him who loves the Marine Corps. He was a Lance Corporal and then a Corporal in Okinawa, and we separated. I came back to the States, and next time I saw him, he came through here as a sergeant 2 years ago, and he was a single young man. We were doing a lot of scuba diving together. I was into scuba diving, and I was his instructor, and he was my dive master. And next time I saw him, he's got a wife, a house, a kid, minivan. I mean, he's a whole new man. And he picks up staff sergeant. He got selected to be an officer. He just went to OCS and graduated from OCS, and now he's going to University of Pittsburgh. And it's just the kind of success story that all these Marines that you see in the khakis, they all have a story that goes something like that. Every single one of them. All right. You know, I after that I went out to flight school in Corpus Christi, and I got an email from Sergeant Major Maddox, who's here. Thank you for coming out. Dave Maddox, he's retired with a beard. You know, that retired and beard, they go hand in hand. So get an email from him. He says, you're being considered for the academy. If you want to be considered, send in a resume, go to this interview. And they hired me, and then I came out here and worked with him and Sergeant Major Ham, and J.D. LeHue, who's sitting right behind him, is a phenomenal Marine that he believed in me, and he always backed me up. And J.D., I'm so happy to see you here, and I really think you look amazing, man. I love seeing you. I'm so happy. All right, from the academy, I come here to the academy. I've been here about 3 years, and it has been the joy of my life, putting my thumbprint on as many Marines as I can. And these are my Marines. Everybody's my Marine. These are the Marines from the academy over here. All these right here in the middle, and every single one of those Marines, they're the best that we have to offer in the Marine Corps. Those faculty advisors are vetted, handpicked, interviewed by the academy, and they stand in front of their peer. They stand in front of their peers and their juniors, and they teach them the things that we're trying to impress on junior Marines all day, every day. They don't take any days off. They don't take any place off. They're out there. So for all of you, for everything you've done for me, I thank you. I mean, I took a lot of credit for a lot of stuff that you guys did. Thank you. Doc, this is Doc Gagnon right here. She's the academics officer at the academy. And what I would tell you, look, guys like me, we come and go. I was director of the academy. We sit around a bar someday. I was the director of the academy. Doc's still going to be there. Doc is the continuity, and whenever I had any problem that needed to be solved, or whenever somebody said, hey, can you do this? Or I wanted to know, can I do that? I asked Doc, does this meet what the general told us to do? Does this meet the requirements for the curriculum? And she's the one who holds that fort down. Thank you. And then Master Guns, where's my ride or die Master Guns at? Wade Clark. Okay, Master Guns, deputy, he's just, me and him are two peas in a pod. We do everything together. If it's not me, it's him. Thank you for the last couple of years, covering down on me and making sure we keep each other sane and safe. I would say, unfortunately, the Marine Corps University Foundation and the Marine Corps Reserve Association, I appreciate the great gifts, but I want to thank you for what you've done. Colonel Hopper and his team, they provide so much support. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Marine Corps Association, who has they've supported enlisted PME since the beginning of time. Okay, almost done. I want to connect the dot on what I was saying. these generations of Marines, from Hovey to Bass to Clifford to Puma. Where's Trudeau? Trudeau, you're next in line. Corporal Trudeau is next in line. I mean, it's just, I leave, my replacement has already been trained and he's there. I was very impressed with Trudeau. In fact, very recently, Sergeant Major Egerling visited the academy in front of all of the E8s, 100 E8s that were there for a seminar. He said, where's Corporal Trudeau? Bring him up here. And he gave him an award and he said, I see you around, I see you working hard, you're the future. And I was, hey, who told you to give it to Trudeau? Don't I get to pick who you give it to? Because I would have picked Trudeau. He said, I can see it myself, I don't need your help. So, Trudeau, you just join in the line. You're the next one. You're the go-to guy. I appreciate you. All right. Old guys, have you heard, if you ever read something or hear something about the new Corps, or if you ever say something about the new Corps, this is what I want you to know, because I was here since you were here. Those Marines, sitting in the back row, are better trained, better educated, better equipped, and more lethal than any of us ever were. The Corps is in a phenomenal state. They run circles around us. Talk about them. We're an old Corps. We used to haze each other. No. Those Marines can do stuff we couldn't even dream of doing. If we met them on the battlefield, we'd be in deep trouble. And then I'm going to leave you with one last thought. And this isn't an original thought of mine. This is our commandant who invented this, not me. I'm just regurgitating it, but I want you to hear it. The commandant says to Marines, our commandant has been here at the university for every single sergeant's course for the last, more than a year. He's been coming. And he sits down with all the sergeants and he BTCs every other sergeant at every other academy in the Marine Corps. And this is one of the things that he tells me. He tells me a lot of great stuff, but this is what he tells me. I'll tell you. He says, you're a Marine. When you do something later on in life, this is what it's going to say. Lieutenant Archie Bass, United States Marine Corps, because that's what the public sees. ... So what are they going to say about you? What are they going to say about you? Are they going to say you got a DUI? No. They're going to say you helped the old lady across the street. And our commandant preaches that method to tell Marines, look at those hemoglobin anchors every day. Pull them out before you pet them on your collars. Take a good look at them, because that's who we are, and you're representing all those Marines that came before you. Okay, I just would like to introduce my family, because we're going to go to a social after this. And when we go to the social, I want you to know who you're talking to. So, this is my Aunt Donna. So, she's my dad's little sister, and she made me that quilt. That's every unit that I was ever in the Marine Corps. And she got all the T-shirts, and she made me that quilt. So, that's my Aunt Donna. So when I was younger, when I was very young, she's my dad's little sister, hard times. She used to live with us, and she helped raise me. So I appreciate it. Mom, for more than 40 years of my life, you've just been raising me and putting up with me, and I love you and I appreciate you. So thank you so much. So my dad, Pete Bass over here, this is what I would tell you. It's okay, Dad. It's okay. So, this is what I'll tell you. This is one tough son of a bitch right here. So, he's a logger by trade. He grew up where they grew up, in a house with no foundation. They killed what they ate in the woods of California, and they cut down trees and stood on the side of the road and sold it for money. That's what they did. So, toughest guy I ever met. Okay. So Katie Bass over here is at the Merchant Marine Academy, and somebody told her earlier, I think Paul said something to her about being a midshipman. Oh, you're a midshipman. She's like, well, I'm not a midshipman yet. I'm still a plebe. I'm trying to earn it. So she's in her first year. She's having hard times. She flew in last night at 11 o'clock, and she has to go fly out tomorrow and get back to school because she still has 2 days. You can't get 2 days off at that place. She's got Monday and Tuesday before she gets any Christmas break. But she's doing really phenomenal. Her class, it's a tough school if you're not familiar with it. Her class has already lost over 10%. They lost almost 15% of the freshman class after one semester. It's a very hard school. They do trimesters. All right, Joey is here to represent my daughter, Allison. So my daughter, Allison, as many of you know, is a Navy nurse. So she graduated from Villanova this year, and she became a Navy nurse. And General Mattis actually said he promised Columbia we would send some help. And so they gathered up as many medical people as they could find in the area. She's not stationed on a ship, but she volunteered and she went, and she's on the USNS Comfort today. She's actually in Honduras today. So she went to Colombia twice, Peru, Ecuador, and she's finishing up in Honduras, and she's going to make it back like the 18th. She was supposed to be here, and I was really looking forward to having all three of my kids here in uniform, but she actually, the hurricane messed up the ship and caused a delay. And then, so moving on, they're going to get married June 15th. And oh my gosh, lest I forget, he's a Navy Corps, United States Navy Corpsman. He did 7 years. What was I thinking? So Archie, many of you know my son Archie. He's an infantry officer at 3-7, and he's got his fiancée here with him, Victoria, and they're going to get married next year. And they're high school sweethearts, went to the prom and all that happy, good Indian story that's coming down the road. So Archie's very difficult to deal with. So bless you. I hope you do well. So, all right. So that brings me to you, Shelly. Who did I forget? Oh, my brother and sister. So this is Shelly's sister, Sarah. And there's only 10 seats in the front row, man. I mean, I can't help you. You had to go to the second row. So this is Sarah, and I mentioned that Shelly's very close with her sister, and we were recruiting out of the area when she was going to high school, so we got really, really tight. This is her husband, Marcus, and Marcus is my best friend. So there's that. Shelly stopped working a couple of weeks ago, and she's been home a lot. And she sees how many times, she's like, you are so annoying. Stop calling him and talking to him. I'm right here. Talk to me. But I call Marcus 3 to 5 times a day, and he calls me 8 to 10 times a day. So, and we're FaceTiming, but he's just my best friend. And I can't be his best friend because he already has like 7 or 8. Everybody's his best friend. Okay. So that brings me to Shelly. Look, Paul said it best. You did a great job raising the kids. You did mom and dad duties many, many times. And Shelly is also very accomplished. She put her schooling away, and we raised kids from when she was, how old were you when you had Archie? 20. So she's been raising kids her whole life, and so the kids are getting old enough they can watch themselves. And so she said, I'm gonna go back to school. So she started going through nursing, and she does all her prereqs. And then I moved her to Okinawa and had to pause it for many years. And then we went down to Texas, and she started it back up, but it was very difficult. Her classes expired, and she showed perseverance, and then she became a nurse last year, and then immediately just started. She just gets so many awards, and they love her so much for her care that she gives. So. All right, I'm over my time. Let me see if I have any other notes. Yeah. So, Shelly, I'm so looking forward to everything else that's coming. Also, Shelly's been in the workforce about 2 years, and so my plan is I did the first 30, she does the next 30. I just want to get that out there, if that's how it's going to go down. But look, we're going to have a reception. It's at the community center where the base housing office is up on Purvis Road. I can shoot you a message. We're going to eat chow around 1700, or after I take off this uniform, it might be 5 p.m. I'm not quite sure what time it will be. That's all I have for you. I'm so humbled. Did I forget anybody? Jeff Harper. I didn't mention you on recruiting duty. Jeff Harper, Master Guns, lives right next door to me, and he was around with Tyson. We were kicking cans and finding kids, and this is what I'll say about Jeff Harper. He's not a very nice guy, okay? Look, he's not a very nice guy. But if I'm picking recruiters as staff at JIC, and I was staff at JIC, and he was a recruiter, if I'm picking recruiters, I'm picking him over the nice guy, because he will not quit. He'll make missions, sir. He will go find them. And you know what? They ship. All of them, they're scared of him. I told you he's not that nice. If they dip in, they're shipping. Nobody's sneaking out. And he lives right next door to me, and he's got his beautiful wife at home, and his parents are here, and his mom's here. So I'll see you in a little bit here. We'll crack a cold one. Oh, the reception's at 5, and I'm still on active duty. And I want you to know, no drinking and driving. So I'll provide you the beer. You can drink as much as you like, and we will not drive out of there. Nobody will drive away from there. And my daughter, Katie, is not old enough to drink, and she will drive you wherever you need to go tonight. I'm telling you guys, don't do it. So that's how it's going to go down. We'll go have some mission barbecues and bring us some food. We eat some chow, dream about the good old days. Yeah, you got to park around back when you go to the community center. Okay? You got to drive around back and park. Don't try and park up front. They'll tow you. That's all I have for you. Thank you so very much.
In lieu of gifts for his family, Sergeant Major Bass has made a donation to the Marine Corps University Foundation. The flag used in today's ceremony was carried by Sergeant Major Bass's son Archie while on patrol in Syria. Additionally, the flag was flown at Atam, Syria, Al Jaber, Kuwait, Al Assad, Iraq, and Al Taqaddum, Iraq.
Detail. Halt. About. Face.
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident, I am arrogant, I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is held a little higher. My colors are a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. I am feared. For more than 200 years, I have fought in every battle of every war. I was flown at Valley Forge, Gettysburg, Shiloh, and Appomattox. I was there at San Juan Hill, the trenches of France in the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, and the beaches of Normandy. The jungles of Guam, Okinawa, Tarawa, Korea, Vietnam, the heat of the Middle East, and a score of other places. Long forgotten by all, but those who were there with me, I was there. I led my Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill on Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-torn, and tired, but my Marines cheered me. I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I have helped to set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is done by those whom I've served in battle, it hurts. But I still overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the surly bounds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the new frontier of space. I have been the silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used
I do
as
have,
bandages for
I
my
mentioned
wounded
earlier if you were in the
armies
room,
field of
that
battle. When I fly half-mast to honor my Marines, and when I lie in their trembling arms of a grieving mother at the graveside of her fallen son or daughter. I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave. Sergeant Major Bass, on behalf of a grateful nation, the President of the United States, the Secretary of the Navy, and the Director of the Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Academy of Quantico, the Marines of your command are honored to present you with the foundation of our great nation, a symbol of what you have worked to preserve for 30 years during your career. Please accept our national ensign of the United States of America.
About faith. Whole word, art,